Now, the use of social media tools and how can entrepreneurs utilize from the power of social media for change to reach the masses. I think besides going over what I feel has been obvious all along about discussions on social media, as more and more people start providing their own content, whether entrepreneurs or not, from home like myself now, let's just say I were to do a video blog, write a blog post, take pictures. As we become more and more into it, I think and you move on to want to reach, not just doing it for yourself, but making that content to be able to be digested by other people. And when you're looking into changing things, you must realize that sometimes there's power in numbers. And when you want to get numbers, social media is a good way to reach those numbers. But I don't think so. There are many people who are very aware in how they present their content to make it more appealing, to make it either more layman, to make it more digestible. So that, and I think if you can capture that element, you can really utilize social media for an agent of change, as a tool of change. And what I've been doing in my capacity is I get involved with various organizations and help them with their communication strategy and advise them on how best to use social media tools. Like recently I've been active with Undi Malaysia, undimsia.com, and leveraging on those skills as opposed to being involved solely on certain organizations. From the skills that I learned as an entrepreneur, I now contribute on a part-time basis to the causes and the issues out there that I would like to be part of or be contributing to. But after a while you realize that more and more people are going to start coming to you with this approach, and it relates to what I said about earlier about this culture of entrepreneurship and culture. You look at a whole ecosystem where people are now expanding into minds where I still can do my job while contributing to other things by just sharing my skills and let the people run those organizations. The other part, what I felt was powerful about social media is in the sense that because content now is more shareable, more and more people are aware about, in Malaysia, more and more people are aware about what happens elsewhere, more aware. There are more people who know about it. And probably number 3, with a better imagination that it can happen here too. And don't dismiss it as, oh yeah, that can happen but it's in London, or that can happen but it's in Melbourne, or we can't do it in Malaysia because of XYZ. A lot of that I think is self-censorship and not realizing that it can happen here, just as long as you really pull your resources together. So where social media comes in is giving you the exposure, and number 2, you connecting with various people of similar interest to make those ideas happen or to make those things happen here. So there's a paradigm shift in that sense that I'm looking at. In understanding that social media power, I think 2 examples that come to mind, which I find very fascinating. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the hashtag YORAIS, for the beloved semi-intelligent minister Rais Yatim. And the other hashtag that recently came out was Saya Generasi. Now, sure, that was not organized in the union sense, but a lot of people came together in this loose organization of a few hours, tweeting Saya Generasi something, and it was largely Malaysian, right? Sure, not all 27 million. Sure, not even half the population. But a good amount of them came together for that brief few minutes, a few hours, and felt that they were together as Malaysians. So you could look at, even though they are not moving forward, okay, so now let's get this collective of union and change something in the country. I know it didn't get to that. Maybe one day it will, where popular hashtags move on to something a bit more organized. But the point being is, even at this level now, that collective act of loose strangers doing one thing together gives that sense of unity. And there are times when you're upset about the country, or you don't feel too happy about things, even in yourself. Little things like this can enable optimism, can enable hope, and it enables people to come together. And by that, you're looking at the big picture. Eventually, it affects the climate, it affects the public discourse, what people are talking about, what's the general feel about the country. Are they sad? Is there recession going on? Are we happy? You know, those hashtags went on the trending topic, one of the most popular hashtags in the world, for a few hours. Now, sure enough, that happened when people in different time zones were asleep. They were more popular on Twitter. But the point being is that those little bursts of things, bits and pieces, went and did go a long way. As Malaysians internally, forget about breaking records in the books, forget that. I'm talking the softer side of things.